Welcome to Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central. I'm Ken Sabahar, and during this presentation, we're going to be walking through an overview of Business Central. Specifically, we're going to go through the general environment overview, some common features and functionality. We're going to go through user interface options available for users, personalization capabilities, Microsoft integrations, reporting and business intelligence, user security, and finally, extensibility. Let's start off by taking a look at the Business Central Role Center page. You'll notice that I am in a browser. Supported browsers include Chrome or Microsoft Edge. It will work with other browsers, but those are the two primary supported browsers by Microsoft. So as long as you have an internet connection, users log in to businesscentral.dynamics.com. They use their Microsoft login ID, multi-factor authentication to authenticate, just like they would using Office 365 or other Microsoft products. It is single sign-in, so it knows who I am, and it knows what my role is within the organization. More on that later. This is the default user interface option. There also is an app. This is the app user interface. You'll notice that it is virtually identical to the browser interface. That's because it's the same exact features and functionality. And the app is suitable for those users, perhaps who are sitting on their Windows computer or they're on their phone or tablet device, any Android or Apple device. You can install the app for free from the store and log in just the same as you would. Regardless of what device you're working on, it is a full-featured user interface. So I can enter sales orders on my phone. I can post journal entries on my tablet as long as I have an internet access or Wi-Fi. I can access Business Central, run reports, post transactions from any device from anywhere. For the rest of this demo, I'll use the browser user interface. So what is Business Central? Business Central is a comprehensive ERP solution delivered by Microsoft, specifically suited for small and mid-sized organizations. It is a comprehensive solution covering everything from finance. So here's kind of a diagram. So financial management, we have general ledger, accounts receivable, accounts payable, fixed assets, financial reporting, all of that. It is a fully multi-currency solution, so that's all standard. Also, sales and service management. One of the unique differentiators with Business Central is that it does include a built-in CRM solution. So if you're looking at sales force management functionality such as tracking opportunities, leads, salesperson tasks, even sales campaigns with specific pricing or discounting, it is all built in. Supply chain management, so built-in inventory tracking, including lot and serial tracking, as well as advanced warehouse management. The ability to set up a location, to use warehouse shipments, picks, receipts, putaways, automated bin replenishment, and bin selection. Operations management, including order processing, purchasing, replenishment, and production. So it does include a robust manufacturing solution, including multi-level bill of materials, routings, capacity management, MRP, demand forecasting, and all that entails. And separately, it includes project management. Project management would be similar to job shop functionality, where an organization may be making a unique machine for a customer, and they want to gather all of those different types of costs against that project, and then perhaps bill that project in milestones, utilizing complex revenue and cost recognition policies, such as percentage of completion or so on. And finally, reporting and analytics. We'll get into this more specifically in a few minutes. So I'm logged into Business Central, and what you'll see is that I start on the Role Center page. The Role Center page is my home page where I want to have everything available to me so that I can access it very quickly. I'm currently logged in as what's called the Business Manager. There are over 40 role centers out of the box. If I just go up to my settings here, you'll see under my role, I am defined as a business manager. Because of my current security, I can come into here and I can change my role center. Most users cannot. But what you'll see is the list of available roles. Everything from a credit and collections manager, sales order processor, manufacturing manager, project manager, purchasing agent, salesperson, sales manager, shipping and receiving, and warehouse worker. So the idea is that for every user, we have a role that will tailor the role center for their specific tasks that they need to do. If I look at the role center specifically, you'll notice I've got drop-down options here, which gives me access to additional features and functionality. I've got reports that I can access right from the role center. I can actually initiate new transactions very quickly just by clicking here on the header. And if I scroll down a little bit, you'll see I have this activities section. The activities section defines key performance indicators and cues that show me the activity that's going on within the organization so that I can see how are things going. And what you'll notice right here is I've got a few key performance indicators. These two have red bars underneath, which indicate to me that these numbers are not good. So maybe I need to investigate why we have 817,000 in past due sales invoices. I can actually click on this, and what it will do is show me all of the entries that make up that dollar amount. So if I scroll over here, I can see the remaining amount due on invoices. I can click on any column to sort, and I see, wow, I can see very quickly that I've got 3 or 4 invoices here that make up just about almost over $500,000 worth of that $800,000 that's past due. So that allows me to quickly know that I need to focus on these 4 invoices. It's just an example of how these tiles can be used. Down here, we have what we call queues. This shows me the number of transactions that we have ongoing at any point, or particular transactions that are in process. And these are all drillable as well. If I want to see, we have 14 active sales quotes in the system. If I click on the tile, I can see those 14 quotes. I can click on one of the quotes and drill down into the details to see what specifically are we quoting here. I can see this is for some Austin tables. Okay. If I continue scrolling down, you'll see a few more features available for all users. I've got my user tasks here. User tasks are simply that, tasks that I can create and assign to specific users on specific due dates. And then those users can verify that they completed those tasks. It could be running an aged accounts receivable report at the end of the month. It could be closing my inventory periods to make sure I've frozen my inventory values for a closed period. Could be posting a journal entry at the end of the month. If I continue scrolling down, you'll see that we have graphical data displayed here through data insights and also the Power BI integration. Business Central does come with Power BI fully integrated. If I click here under Select Report, you'll see that there are a slew of standard reports available for use with Business Central within here. Next, let's take a look at the Office integrations. So one of the things we've been talking about so far is just navigating through Business Central, either in the browser or through the app. However, we also are integrated with Outlook. So if you're running Office 365, for example, here is an email it looks like this email is coming in from one of our customers asking us to please confirm the status of our order. And what you'll notice is that this order number is underlined. This is Microsoft seeing that this number represents a transaction in Business Central, automatically underlining it for me to indicate that I can click on this and view what we call the document view page. So this is actually going to show me the document, if there is one assigned here. See that that order may have since been processed. I also have access directly to Business Central. So if I click, for example, on Contact Insights, I can see, order 101, we saw that order was not available. If I scroll down here, I can see we have 10 open sales orders for this customer, Canon Group. Now it knows that Ken Demo here is associated with Canon Group because Ken Demo is a contact in Business Central that's associated with our customer Canon Group. If I click on this tile here, I can actually see all of the orders that are in process. And I want to look for 101. And I see that order is not here. So that quickly lets me know we have not yet entered that order. I could also go into posted shipments and I can search for that order number in here and see if that exists also. I see that also it isn't a process order that we've processed. So without leaving Outlook, I've been able to do that. Now let's take it even one step further. From right within Outlook, I can say, I want to create a new sales order. What this is going to do is launch the sales order page. And if I open it a little bit bigger, you'll see that this is my sales order page. I've now created new order 101255 for them. I can enter a purchase order number. I can enter an item here. Let's pick this action clamp. This is what they're ordering. They want 5 of these. I see that their credit limit has been exceeded. We're going to bypass that for right now. And I can either send this order for an approval request, or perhaps if I have the authority to approve it myself, I can release it and then email a confirmation to the customer. Here's their new order confirmation. Here's a nice template body of the email that has a nice message for the customer. My sales order confirmation is attached as a PDF, and I can send that email off to the customer, all without leaving Outlook. So all of those email transactions can be logged directly within Business Central as part of our CRM solution that's built into Business Central. One other integration functionality that I want to show is the integration with Excel. So from any list page, so this is a list page, it's just a page showing me a list of transactions. I have a share button here. And from any page, I can share this data either as a link with another user that I want to send to them in Teams or Outlook to say, hey, check this out. Or I can share this directly within Teams or Excel. Let's go ahead and go into Excel. And let's say we want to do an example where we update everyone's credit limit. We want to change anyone with a credit limit of 35,000 to 36,000. Okay, so this is a good exercise for using Excel. I have hundreds of customers here. I don't want to have to go one by one and update all of those from 35 to 36,000. So what I'm going to do is use the Edit in Excel feature. So what it's going to do, it actually opens up an Excel file here, and I'll go ahead and launch Excel. And when I open it, I'll click Enable Editing. It's going to authenticate me here to make sure that I'm an authorized user and that I can edit this data. And then it's going to present this data to me in Excel. Now, this is where the power of Excel comes into play, where I can, for example, highlight this whole column and say, let's replace 35,000 with 36,000. There we go. We updated 24 customers. So let's close that. I'm going to save this spreadsheet here. We'll save it to my desktop as customer card 2. And then I'm also, but mainly what I'm going to do, so now I've got a record of the spreadsheet, but the real power is the publish button. Now that I've made these changes, I can go ahead and publish this data back into Business Central. Processing all these changes, if I go back into Business Central, you will now see that all of my credit limits have been updated to 36,000. While we're in here, we want to change the salesperson on some customer records. So we want to change, let's say, we will change a Datum Corporation from salesperson, where's that at here? There we are, from salesperson KS to PS. And then Trey Research, let's change them to salesperson Ken. And I'll go ahead and publish these changes again back to Business Central. And you'll see that an error was encountered here. I just wanted to demonstrate that it is validating the data as it's writing it back into Business Central. Salesperson KEN, that is not a valid salesperson code. So that change was not successfully written back to Business Central. So we go back in here. If I hit F5, you will now see that a Datum has been changed to PS. So here's my salesperson PS, but Trey Research was not updated to Ken because that was not a valid salesperson. So tight integration with Excel. There are other tools called configuration packages that allow us to import and export data from Excel, commonly used during data conversion processes when we're importing customers, vendors, ship to addresses, items, bill of materials, chart of accounts, even history loaded in just through a simple Excel customizable interface. Okay. Let's talk about personalization next. So you'll notice when I open this customer list page that there are certain fields that are displayed when I open this page. Any field can be personalized by users, assuming you have enabled the personalization capability for the user. Now, what does that mean? Well, simply put, it means that the user has the ability to control the display of any page element, any field on the page, any menu option on the page, any fact box on a page. So just as a simple example, let's say we want to move the contact name. We want to eliminate the payment terms code. I want to put contact next to the name. I want to get rid of payment terms code. And then maybe there's a field I want to add that I'm not looking here. So I'm going to go up into personalization. I'm now in personalize mode, and I get this little bar here that tells me that I'm personalizing. And what I can do is I can click on a column and I can move it by just dragging it to the left or to the right. So I've now moved contact next to name. I can also remove columns just by clicking here on the little red flag and saying hide. I can also click up here on field to look at a list of other fields that may be available for me to display that I'm not currently displaying. So for example, maybe we want to add the customer posting group field. So I can add that onto my page. I can also control the freeze pane. You'll notice I have a freeze pane set here. So as I scroll to the right, my customer number and customer name stay put. I can also, lastly, I can also control which menu options I'm looking at here on the ribbon. There may be things that I don't do in my particular role, so I can simply hide those menu options and then redisplay them later if I wanted to add them back. So let's go ahead and save our changes. You'll notice I now have the customer posting group here. I've moved my contact next to my name, and I've removed my payment method code. And as I scroll over to the right, I have my freeze pane, which controls my number and my name. Very powerful. What this allows us to do is create very tailored entry screens for users so that, for example, if I'm entering a lot of sales quotes or sales orders, I can control the exact fields that users are looking at and the fields that they need to enter data into. As one last example of that, let's just open up a card page. Let's go into a sales quote. So let me go into a sales quote page. And what you'll notice is that I've got about 8 fields displayed here on my quote header record. I also have an option here to show more fields. If I show more fields, a whole slew of additional fields become visible to me, and I can now edit those fields. All of this we can control through personalization. So if I go into personalize here, I can show all fields and say valid to quote date is a field that I always want to show. So I can say always show. Conversely, I could say only, show when collapsed. So let's go ahead and show that field. I can also move fields around. So if I want to move a field here, you can change the order of fields and so on. Okay, so let's go ahead and save that. And if I show less, now my valid to quote date field is displayed. So this again allows us to create very customized workflows that define specifically what fields people need to be entering. The same thing is true on the line records. So which fields do I want to make sure users are entering or using as they're processing a quote? In this case, I can control all of that. Okay. Next, let's turn to some basics on reporting. There are hundreds of standard reports built into the system. As an example, let's run an aged accounts receivable report. So this is an example of a report where when I run it, I have options in terms of how I want to run this particular report. So let's age it as of May 31st, 2024. I can choose some other report specific parameters here. Some reports include a print to Excel that directly outputs the data to Excel. I also have the ability to filter what data is included in the report. So any report, I can filter on any field in the whole system. So for example, you'll see that here it looks like I can filter on this report on customer number, customer posting group, payment terms, or salesperson code. However, let's say that I want to filter this report on payment method. Although I don't see that field here, I can add a new filter field. And I can type in, there we go, payment method code. And I can say, let's only run this for customers who pay via check. Right? And then now, when I run the report, I can choose to preview the report output directly to the page, send it to a printer, or I can send it to a PDF document, an XML document, which is handy if I am integrating this with another system, Word, Excel, data and layout, or Excel data only. Excel data only effectively takes all of the data used by this report and presents it into Excel in a clean grid style report. My last option is I can schedule the report. Let's go ahead and schedule the report. Let's schedule it for right now. The report has been scheduled and will appear in my report inbox when it's complete. So let's say this report takes several minutes to run. I don't want to sit here and wait for the report to run. That's why I might schedule it. I also might schedule it to run at 6 p.m. tonight at the end of the day. And then when I come in the morning, I can open up my Role Center, scroll down to my report inbox, and there you will see those new reports. Unviewed reports are bolded, so I can see that these top 2 reports I've not yet looked at. If I click on it, I can open up that report. And here it is. So I actually have no outstanding receivables for customers with a payment method of check. Okay, so let's go back. Let's run that report one more time, just to show what it looks like. If I run it, let's clear that filter. Let's run it for, now we're going to run it for all customers. Let's preview it. The report is generated in just a second or two. And now I can scroll down, look at the report, see what's on here. I can download a copy of it. I can search through the report, or save it as an Excel file. We also have built-in financial reports. So things like balance sheet, income statements, trial balance reports. An unlimited number of row definitions can be created, defining the rows such as sales, expenses, cost of goods sold, and also an unlimited number of column definitions can be created. This could be things like period to date or period and year to date, period to date versus prior year to date with a variance, actual versus budgets, maybe a rolling 12-month, or a departmental or what we call dimensional financial statement. So it's literally an unlimited combination of rows and columns that can be created to analyze your financial data directly from within Business Central. And if I click this open, I can say, let's look at a year of data, a quarter of data, a month of data, and then look at this data. So it's online analysis tools for you. And then let's take one more look at Power BI. Power BI, or BI for Business Intelligence, is Microsoft's flagship reporting solution, fully integrated within Business Central. You see here. Let's go ahead and select a report just to kind of demonstrate the capabilities of what Power BI brings to the table. I have a report I've created here called Sales Analysis. So let's take a look at this report and then let's expand it so that we can see it a little bit more easily. So with Power BI, what you get is really rich, robust visualizations of your data. And if I look down here, you can see some examples of prior period to date and your current year to date analysis with some other visualizations. If I look at the details, right, I can see additional details here. Where the real power of Power BI comes into play is the ability to slice and dice the data in real time. So I've run this report, I'm looking at all of my data. Perhaps I only want to look at the data for one customer. If I select a filter here, or slicer, I'm now only looking at sales for customers whose salesperson is KS. But I may only want to also look at customers for KS who are in the gold price group. So now I've identified the customers, Canon Group and Zogix, who are Ken's customers in the gold price group. And I see here that I have a nice variance for current year over prior year for Canon Group. And I'm curious to see what specifically have they been buying that's led to this increase. Right from this line, I can drill through to the details and I see all of their sales here. And if I click on the sales column, I can see that, wow, we had one huge sale of 50 conference bundle packages that make up $116,000. So I can kind of quickly see here, this was the big difference between this year and last year. That's just an example of the type of powerful reporting and analysis you can do with Power BI. Now, you also can quickly create, I won't go through a full demonstration of this, but I just want to show that to create a data set, you'll see that a whole bunch of Power BI data sets already exist that you can use to pull data from Business Central into Power BI. However, there's also the ability to create a new data set. A new data set can be created by a user for any data inside Business Central. Standard tables, app tables, custom tables, you can create a new data set. And if I click on this, I won't go through all the steps here, but it's a wizard style user interface where I can just click next to go through the steps of creating a new data set. Once I have that, I've got a new OData URL here that I can then go into Power BI and connect to pull that data. Now, you're saying, wow, I can get all this data inside of Excel, inside Power BI, and in Business Central. What type of security exists in Business Central? Well, first of all of the Business Central environment is maintained by Microsoft and uses all of Microsoft's standard security protocols, including multi-factor authentication. And when you'll notice if I go into Power BI or if I go into Excel or Office, it authenticates me if I have not yet authenticated, and it looks at the permissions that have been created inside Business Central to make sure that each user is authorized to use or view that data. So how we do that is a combination of two things. First of all, by assigning each user a specific role center that is tailored for their specific job functions. The second is through what are called permission sets. And permission sets are sets of rules defined for each user that define what data in the system or what reports or what processes is this user authorized for. This can include data in things like that, for example, they're able to read customer and customer data, but they cannot edit customer or customer data. Or maybe they can edit customer data, but they cannot post sales shipments or sales invoices. There is what's called a team user that allows you to, it's a very low price point for the user, which gives them full read access throughout the whole system. They could run any reports they want or view any Business Central data, less than $10 per user per month for a team member user. A full user is any user who is entering data or processing transactions inside of Business Central. So full security able to be done in Business Central. The last thing we want to talk about today is extensibility. Business Central at its roots was designed to be tailored. Now, this is an environment that is maintained and updated on a monthly basis by Microsoft. So you ask, how can I customize the solution if Microsoft is going to be updating my environment on a monthly basis? Well, we do that through what we call extensions. And an extension, in a way, is very similar to an app that you have installed on your phone. You can design an extension that works with the standard Business Central app, and that extension can be installed, it can be updated, it can be uninstalled. The same way any app can be installed or uninstalled or updated on your phone, your iPhone or Android phone. And there are really two types of extensions that we can do. The first is a custom extension that is designed specifically for your organization. This could be adding a new field to a customer record or a purchase order transaction. It could be custom logic that does pricing on a sales invoice a little bit differently than the standard out-of-the-box pricing logic. It could be a new document or a new report that we want to have available for users, or it could be an additional validation that says that we can't process this transaction until certain criteria have been met. All of those types of things are capabilities that we can do through extensions. The second type of extension would be an app that has been published on the marketplace. So if I look up here, extension marketplace, I actually, from within Business Central, can look, and what I see here is that there are over 5,400 apps Each of these apps have been certified by Microsoft and are available. Some apps are free, some apps cost money per user or per environment on a monthly basis. Just as an example, let's say we have some pretty advanced salesperson commission processing requirements. The out-of-the-box functionality may not meet your needs. So if I come out here, you'll see that there are actually 48 results for potential apps that may have commission management functionality built in. If I select any one of these apps here, you will see detailed information about that app. So often a detailed description of the app, perhaps videos or screenshots, other related apps or apps that are provided by that app vendor, and then also pricing information. So as an example, this one here is first month free and then $299 per user per month. So between the combination of apps that are available on AppSource and the ability to extend Business Central or even extend the apps to provide tailored functionality, offers your organization virtually unlimited capabilities in making sure that we can tailor Business Central to meet your organization's needs. Thank you very much for attending this overview demonstration.